I love not just Bad Bunny, pero me gusta el mensaje. You know, I'm a kid of faith, and then he put it, bendiciones para todo el mundo y chavos para todo el mundo, because I think como latinos, hay veces que tenemos pena to talk about we want to make a good living.
Claro.
As if talking about making money is a bad thing. And so I really love how he put that together. Anyway, Chef, muchas gracias por estar en el show.
¿Cómo estás? Gracias por la invitación, honrada.
¿Cómo está el clima allá?
It's nice. It's a beautiful, like, last end of the winter, como que breezy, bien chévere.
No, that's awesome. So tell our viewers a little bit of your story, how you got into it, and then we're going to go into additional questions. But I want to kind of set the tone, what you did, so they see the work behind what we see today.
You mean like my
How you
background?
got, yeah, your background, how you got into cooking.
Okay. All right. So I'm Puerto Rican of Dominican parents. My
Explain that.
Well, I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. My parents are like first generation that left the island looking for something different, and they found it right next door here in Puerto Rico.
I like that. It's a little bit like almost like me, because you're probably thinking, este chino habla español.
No, see, maybe.
I like it. So Boricua de padres dominicanos, right?
So I roll con el 50-50 for sure.
I like that. I hope you don't mind. It's happy hour here. It's my Ortega family wines con un Pinot Blanc de
Ay,
Napa.
qué rico. ¿Y cómo está el clima donde ti? ¿Estás bien?
¿Qué dices?
El clima en tu lado, ¿está bueno?
Bueno, yo estoy aquí en California, so it's like 70 degrees. It's nice. It's nice. Lo que me hace falta, my friends that are in New York, they're all that snow. I feel bad for them. Me da pesar.
Yo viví en Nueva York por más de 12 años y allá fue como me forjé en esto de la cocina.
Okay, it's interesting you say that, because I want to let you tell your story, but I think now I get an idea now after looking up your background, how you have our foods, but you're using modern techniques, updated techniques.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a third generation cook. My grandmother in La República Dominicana, in a small town called La Romana, she had a fonda, where like workers would get their food and whatever. Y mi mamá y todas mis tías trabajaban con ella. So ya esa técnica caribeña, arroz habichuela, guisos and all that stuff, pues I started cooking when I was 8 with my mom, so esto ya está ahí. Pero al irme de Puerto Rico, como que me sentí como que tiene que haber más que rice and beans. Y ahí fue que empecé como que a buscar otras recetas y explorar otras culturas y ver ingredientes nuevos and just discover. And then living in New York, that was way easier, right? Because you have access to so much food. Anything you want, you can get. So, eso es mucho como lo que me gusta aplicar, porque uno siempre quiere el comfort food, que es your childhood memory, lo que yo digo el ratatouille moment, que tú te transporta algo que te acuerda a tu niñez. Pero I like to just kind of like upgrade it y utilizar ingredientes de todas partes, porque why not? It's more fun.
Yeah, you know, again, so before, so you were cooking as a child, but at what age, 16, 17, did you say I want to go professionally into cooking, or talk to us about
no. It was early 20s.
Perfect. And your first restaurant that you got a job at, don't say where, you don't have to, but what was it?
Yeah, well, when I moved, I went to culinary school at the French Culinary Institute.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah. So while I was going to school, I was also working at Pastis, which is a restaurant in Manhattan.
What year?
Pastis, this is like 2006.
Okay, so it's fairly recent, because my friends had restaurants in New York back that were hitting hard in the late 90s, but there was probably after.
Yeah, it was still crazy. It was still, it was funny. My chef used to say that it was the most expensive Mickey D's in the city, because it was just like this churning machine of food, but like pretty decent food. It's a great bistro. And then after that, after school, I went to The Modern, which is a restaurant at the MoMA. The chef Gabriel Cruther, he's more of an Alsatian chef, so I have to say I learned a lot and continue to learn more about French technique, and also the access to all the beautiful ingredients at the Union Square Market, which makes it more interesting. And then after that, I went to Mayalino, which is a Roman trattoria, which was amazing. I was part of the opening crew. So it was a really good learning experience as well, because it's just another thing, Italian food. Um, so
It's good that you're learning while getting paid because sometimes it's very common for chefs to move somewhere just for the sake of
absolutely.
education. Entonces a ti te está dando chavo and you're learning different techniques, right? And
Claro. People don't see it that way. I mean, for New York, I was back in the day, I was making like $10 an hour, which is like,
esta nueva generación, they get lazy. They don't want to, we got to teach them. Well, let me correct that before cancel culture. Esta nueva
I,
generación needs to realize los esfuerzos, lo que pasa before the dish, before the social media. There's hard work.
no había nada de eso. Like there was no, I don't have any pictures of that stage in my career because that was before that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have pictures of myself in the kitchen. That wasn't allowed.
Exacto.
Especially in fine dining. There's no way.
So how,
So
so how
yeah.
long did you spend time in New York going through different culinaries, working under great mentors? How long were you doing that before you said, this
Um,
is this is what I'm
well,
good at, this is what I want to be known for?
every restaurant that I worked at, it was like it had to be at least a year to 2 year commitment
Mm-hmm.
because you're not gonna learn what you need in 3 months. Like you can't jump from restaurant to restaurant like happens a lot right now.
Yeah.
Um, so let's say I cooked in kitchens in New York about like 8 years, and then moved here, and then
What made you go to Puerto Rico?
so I have an autistic son. He's the one that's like walking back and forth. It's he's nonverbal, so it was tricky for my husband and I. So we had no family, so we decided to do the jump and come to Puerto Rico because here's my family, my parents, my brother.
El apoyo, the
So,
support, the support.
ese apoyo de familia que necesitamos en cosas así complicadas, ¿no?
How long have you been in Puerto Rico?
I've been back for 9 years now.
9 years. Okay, perfect. So walk us through. It's so much I want to talk to you about too, because Mario Pagan, he's been on the show too, and
Okay.
so you know Mario.
Ah, claro.
Yeah, so Mario's been on the show, and he said, look, he's from Florida, but he moved to Puerto Rico. Siempre tiene el alma boricua, and it's gone well for him, you know. And then I look at you and similar past. So no, we've had some OGs on the show,
Oh, that's
because
cool.
I'm telling you, I want to write our own narrative. I want to show that we have the stars. Just because our last name doesn't, is from a different nationality doesn't mean that we aren't as talented. But I'd rather show it to them than complain. That's just me.
Claro.
Okay.
Yeah, speak
Ahora,
with actions.
so you're back in Puerto Rico. Um, before we go too much in Puerto Rico, tell us about the Bobby Flay beat Bobby Flay. What made you say I want to try TV?
Well, they call me super random. Like I am not a competition person. I don't know. I just feel like I don't need it. I compete with myself already. But
Mm-hmm.
my friend, her name is Monte Carlo. She's
Yeah,
also
it's
she's
a good
also
friend.
out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she's like one of my best friends, and she's out there in LA, and she knows Bobby, and she's like, you got to do it. And I'm like, I don't know about this, dude. And she's like, you just have to do it. Like it'll be good, and da da da. So after much convincing, I was like, okay, why not? What's the worst that could happen? And it happened so fast. It happened like in 3 months. They called me, she convinced me, and then boom, I was on a plane to New York, and I was in the stage. It was
What did
bananas.
you learn from that experience?
I learned that I did like to be more confident about what I can do in the kitchen.
What you're
You
capable
know,
of? Yeah.
exactly. I was like, you know what? I definitely got this. And sometimes you get in the mix of just like running a restaurant or pop-ups or caterings or whatever you're doing, Instagram posting and all that stuff. And you kind of like second guess yourself sometimes. I always do because I always think everything can be perfect.
Yeah.
But that confirmed to me, even though I didn't beat him, I felt like I did a good job. Like,
When you're learning at that level, it's a win already.
yeah, and I was happy with everything that I put on that plate. I felt like I cooked everything with the right technique. The flavors were good. It just, chefs have different palates, and that's what happened that
That's
day.
the tough part about judging judges. They have different palates,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
but hey, listen, I love the fact that you were look like us and you were on TV. You
Yeah,
know,
it was fun. I have to say, it was super fun. It was good. I was and the main reason why I did it is because the restaurant was struggling a little bit, and I was like, this is good business.
got it.
So
So now in Puerto Rico, are you working at a restaurant or you have your restaurant?
well, right until this COVID stuff started to happen, well, we got hit. A restaurant was called Gallo Negro in Santurce. We had
I'm always there in La Placita, right? Santurce, right?
exacto.
I'm always there. So tell me where it's around because I'm going to show you que yo soy calle. That's my favorite spot. I used to go when Jose Enrique when he had the restaurant there and then he moved it.
Yeah,
Where around that area is Gallo Negro? What
so
was that?
it's right on Ponce de Leon Avenue.
Okay,
So if you're going towards like Old San Juan, it's in between
okay,
La Placita and Miramar.
okay.
So
Now I know. Okay,
we were
so
there
before
for 7 years actually.
you were
Um,
up there, it was doing good. Then COVID hit.
Actually, no. Maria hit us first,
Mm,
and that did a lot of damage to the island. It was very hard for us to recover from that, and there's a lot of drama. It's like we didn't have power for 4 months after Maria. We couldn't really reopen, so that's just like right there. You start going down, down on the account.
yeah,
And then there were no tourists coming to the island because post hurricane, the island was destroyed.
yeah.
And then after that, like the next few years after, it was just we had, of course, like really good times and really good moments in between, but there was a lot of drama, like no power, no water, things that
And
were
then the political struggle with the governor and
yeah,
all that.
the
No, no. Listen, I
battle.
go down there a lot for business, and so
Okay.
I did meet with Ricky prior to all that mess,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
and even after Maria and the issue and the politics and the drama, it's just lo que sufren son la gente, you know.
Sí, claro, los restaurantes mom and pop, porque los que son cadenas, pues siempre sobreviven. Pero
Exacto, exacto.
mom and pop business que tú estás abriendo con tu chavo, sin un investor, tú sabes, it's very hard. And as you may know, like profit margin en restaurantes es bien complejo.
Yeah,
Eh, so you need to, I feel so much right now por la gente que está vendiendo like at 30% capacity. Because for a restaurant to do successfully, you need to have at least a 75, 80 at all times.
exacto. And hopefully
So,
it'll change. Hopefully it'll change quicker. So
yeah.
so where does that put you? Where do you want to be in the next 2-3 years? Do you?
Well, right now, I'm doing a lot of private chefing, which is something that I did in New York. I mean, this whole time that I've been in Puerto Rico, I fly back to New York often and I cook there and I do events and pop-ups and I cook in Philly. I cooked in LA and Chicago. So that kept me busy and after the restaurant closed, so I had a few of those opportunities back in the Hamptons and stuff. Pero so the private chefing takes care of like the bills. The pop-ups takes care of like the fun stuff. I do pop-ups with chef friends around the island.
Yeah,
Y ahora mismo I just took un contracting job con un hotel en el Viejo San Juan.
good.
So, gonna give it my all. Y hopefully we'll open by June. So I'm excited to have my food out there for everybody again.
100%. So you're executive chef at a hotel in Viejo San Juan.
Exacto.
I'll be
Sí.
there soon. I'll be there. I'll be there the next 2 months. So we'll connect. And let me ask you this: how important is social media to your brand?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I would say 75% of my clients come through Instagram Messenger, actually. I mean, that's how we're talking.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's very important. I try to keep up. Also, I always say like de donde sale una idea sale otra. So siempre tengo recetas nuevas y cosas que quiero jugar and things that I like to just put up there. So like there's always so many options, so it's also fun to put it out there. Y again, todo el mundo tiene diferentes paladares, so that's how I get all sorts of clients,
But it's important that a chef focus for their viewers that they're focusing on their brand on social media. It's a missed opportunity if they don't have a presence. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, you would get a spot on the radio or something. That's not an option. La gente no escucha la radio. La gente está scrolling on their phone.
And it's free. So I like that's a good advice.
Ooh, it's
Let's
huge.
have some fun questions. Are you ready for some fun questions?
Oh, sure.
In English, it's called "What's your pet peeve in the industry?" In español, it's called "¿Qué te molesta de la industria?"
¿De la industria o de la cocina o
Yeah,
más
yeah, yeah.
específico?
De la industria de la cocina.
Ok. Creo que todavía hay un poquito de división, que es parte de este podcast que estamos teniendo ahora mismo. Sé que, por ejemplo, ahora mismo gente como James Beard está cogiendo un poquito de backlash por maybe not featuring more diversity in chefs. Igual que el tema de ser mujer en una cocina sigue siendo un struggle. So, ese equality como que todavía falta y me parece tan irónico because we all want to be chefs because we want to cook like our moms, but yet a woman in the kitchen has to like work a little harder. It's
100%. And with social media, I tell people social media is good and bad. It's like social media is like tres leches, right? If you eat it every day, it's not good for you. Okay?
claro,
But
sí,
social media is exposing what needs to be fixed and it's
claro,
louder. So I'm all for social media, que es lo positivo, but I also understand que tiene lo negativo. But to me, it's too much positive that I'll undertake the bad stuff. You know, I'll accept the bad porque lo bueno is bigger than we expected. We need that to create new opportunities, to level the playing field, to mirror and to have equality, as you say, in the industry.
claro.
It's
Yo me enfoco por eso más como que en Instagram, porque es como que, hey, here's a picture of food. Everybody wants to see a picture of food. You want to eat this? Call me. It's a perfect sale. Versus el mundo de Twitter, que es como que como que people just fighting and canceling and arguing.
it kind of leads into the next question, which what is your pet peeve in society?
I think right now I'm having issues with I'm more of a Gen Xer, right?
Hmm?
So I'm
You're the right
having
generation.
so I'm having a little bit of issues with everybody. There's so much information out there, so
Mhm.
everybody nobody knows what's true anymore, and everybody's just at each other's throat right now, like
Yeah.
so hard. Like it's to the point that I start reading something and I stop reading because I'm like, oh my god, everything is like it's too intense.
We call it like acting a fool, you know. And sometimes it's people in our own circle that we're like, "You really think that? Did you just really say that?" So I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Why do we have to prove still that the earth isn't flat? You know, like
Exactly,
that's a
exactly.
legit
Yeah,
conversation.
ignorance is ignorance. It doesn't, you know, you don't have to politicize it. Ignorance, la ignorancia, ignorancia. La estupidez,
Claro.
racismo is that. It's not. You shouldn't put a political belief around it. Okay.
Claro.
So let's go to the next question. Um, the world is ending. The last meal on Earth, ¿qué sería?
Oh my God, I had this thought many times. I think I narrowed it down to two things.
Mm-hmm.
I can't choose just one. I'm a
Do,
chef.
what are they?
Okay. Okay, arroz a caballo. Eh,
Good point.
rice with a crispy egg
Mhm.
and a runny yolk and maybe some pickled onions.
There you
Just
go.
just like that saucy yolk, like ese es uno de mis favorite meals. Also, mi mamá hace como que arroz con gandules con coco y gallinita guisada. Like she picks the chicken, you know, that whole traumatic experience we went through. Um, but she es un fricase como que guisado tan delicioso y hermoso, and it always takes me to childhood memories.
100%. We spend our careers looking under different chefs and culinary styles, and as we grow into our maturity, we realize que queremos algo más sencillo
Dude, it's
and
just,
very well, like you said, a runny egg, not overcooked egg, runny egg con
oh,
tostadito al lado. That's the best way to do it.
ah,
I would just say un aguacate with the pickled onions because I like aguacate as my last one.
ya. ¿Cuál es tú? Now
Huh?
I'm curious, what's yours?
My last meal is gonna be a churrasco y tostones. So
Ah,
I'm not gonna say ribeye. I'm gonna say churrasco because I just love how it's just quickly cooked. The char,
yeah.
chimichurri y tostones. That's it. Because that's just my favorite meal. Nicaragua would make churrasco and chimichurri y tostones. That would be my last meal. You know, but I do eat rice con el huevo, soft boiled in some Nicaraguan cheese very
It's
often.
so
Um,
good.
La última pregunta. Three people dead or alive that you can have dinner with. Who would they be?
David Bowie.
I like that.
Um, I want to say Julia Child.
There you go.
And I want to say that's a tricky one.
Yeah, have to be fun questions.
um, maybe Chef Jack Papan, actually.
It tells me a lot. It tells me you're passionate about music, and it tells me your level of thinking of culinary.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. Chef Papan, Julia, why not? And then of course David Bowie. That means you're Generation X like me. Awesome. No, that's awesome. Listen, Chef, es un placer. And this is like the first, with your permission, of other interviews, because I do interview my guests after Corona, because estamos hablando del nuevo normal, you know,
Claro.
and I'm glad that we are now connected.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to know that you're doing pop-ups, so we will stay in touch because there's a lot of collaborations that we can do. So thank you for taking the time. Y cualquier cosa, para eso estamos.
Claro. Can't wait to go to LA. So let's keep in touch for sure.
All right, have a good one.
Thank you.